too much. I'm from New Jersey. That makes me cry. You gotta. Someone say something mean real quick. Someone call me fat and gay right now. All right. So a lot of comedians I hear make a similar type of joke. I'll hear a lot of comedians make fun of their significant other. One joke I hear a lot is comedians making fun of their girlfriend who got mad at them from something they saw in a dream. And I realize that a lot of comedians make that joke is because subconsciously they want her to be in the audience one day, see people laughing, and realize how crazy she is, right? And that's to me, that's messed up. It's passive aggressive bullshit. Just talk to them. Tell them what's wrong. That would be like if I got on stage right now and was like, isn't it crazy that my roommate has never tried to figure out how the garbage disappears? My roommate, who's definitely sitting here right now, right over there, just is totally fine living his life with the mystery that the garbage that he uses every day disappears several times a week. He has no idea. Eric Asker right over there. This whole show is just spite of friends that are here. I've been doing comedy for 10 years. I've been doing comedy for 10 years. It's going pretty well. It's going okay. It's going okay. Usually, if it's going really well, you don't have to open up your own comedy club. If you're really crushing it, you don't have to bring your own stage. There's no BYOS. We opened this place 2 years after the pandemic because we got too drunk and actually decided to fucking ruin our lives by working way harder for no money. And a few months after we opened, my mom came to visit. My mom came to visit for the first time, and the only thing she said is, "This is amazing. You're right next to a Dunkin' Donuts. You're right next to it. You can get it whenever you want." 30 years ago, I had a son. I had a boy. And now I'm in the proximity of bad coffee and donuts. Life. Comedy's going okay. I still keep a part-time job. I keep a part-time job as a pilot. I have a part-time job as a pilot. I fly airplanes around the world for money. Only when I'm not pursuing my true passion of being a comedian no one has heard about. I'm a part-time pilot, full-time comedian. You could probably guess who's disappointed in my priorities. It's my passengers. My passengers, they don't want you to be a comedian at all, I found out. It's like the plane was built by Boeing, so how serious can we take it, you know? I also think it's because, have you ever heard a pilot tell a joke? Have you ever heard a pilot tell a joke? It's always the worst thing you've ever heard. It's always some guy's like, this is your captain speaking, we're going to be getting our descent now. We'll be on the ground in Toronto in about 45 minutes. At our destination, winds are out of the southwest, and it's a frigid 10 degrees outside, and that's that's colder than my ex-wife. And you're like, kill yourself. Not now! Not now! Later. Do it later. I'm trying to tell better bits in the airplane. I'm trying to be a funnier pilot, give us a better name. I'm like, what's up? It's your captain. Did you guys get those pretzels I sent you? Hell yeah, you did. Hell yeah, you did. If you guys play your cards right, I'll turn that no smoking light off for the first time in 50 years. We need to pass something around. We are beginning our descent soon, not in the plane, just as a society. Look how you people treat the flight attendants. Please stop hitting the flight attendants. Why hasn't anyone ever tipped their pilot? I'm a good pilot. Been doing this for 10 years. I know all the buttons. Why haven't you ever tipped your pilot? You guys tip your Uber driver on the way to the airport, and they're twice as drunk as I am. No, I'm kidding. I want to have a little tip screen on the end of your stupid movie that you watched. I want to have a little tip screen, and you're just like, hey, what are you supposed to tip again? He's like, I think it's like twice the flight, like times 2, so it's like a 3-hour flight, so $6. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Don't tip your pilot. But what you can do is, anyone here ever been to Latin America? Anyone here ever flown to a country that can dance? You have, sir. What happens? They clap. They clap. As you fucking should. We just flew 2,000 miles through negative 60-degree air and landed in the exact spot we were supposed to go. You guys clapped when I got on stage out of courtesy before I even told one joke. You're not gonna clap when I don't kill all of us? When I land in Chicago, everyone's like, fuck you, open the door. When I fly to Puerto Rico, I have 3 abuelas saying the rosary for my soul the entire flight. We land in San Juan, I get a standing ovation, the pain in my knee is gone. You guys don't fucking clap, are you kidding me? It's not my fault Chicago sucks. You wanted to come here. People will say, what's your favorite pilot movie? Some thinks it's Top Gun. Some think it's that Denzel Washington movie where he does cocaine and goes upside down or whatever. My favorite, the best pilot movie ever made is this movie called Sully. If you haven't seen it, it's based off a true story. It's about a United Airlines flight that takes off from New York City, then immediately experiences unprecedented dual-engine failure. And then this very brave pilot has to make a split-second decision between landing in New Jersey or just putting it down in the river. I grew up in New Jersey. I won't spoil the movie. He does the right thing. He does the right thing. He does it. He's a hero. He's a hero. That man. I don't fly for the airlines anymore. I don't fly for the airlines. I only fly where I started flying, which is with the military. And that's okay. You don't have to clap. No, I love it. I love being in the military and living in New York because nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. It's great. It's healthy for you, right? Because when I go to the South, I get on stage, people just start cheering. They lose their shit. It's like being gay in Brooklyn. It's nice. It's nice, but it doesn't help, you know? So I am in the military. The only time I've ever gotten mad about it was last year, Veterans Day. I went to that Dunkin' Donuts that my mom loves so much. And I was like, I'm here to redeem my free Veterans Day donut. And they were like, we don't do that here. That was That's been the closest I've come personally to the Republican rant in my car. I walked by my car 3 times. I was just gonna be sitting in there, just be like live streaming. You know what the problem with this generation is? They don't care about the troops no more. Just a donut on my face. I fly. I wanted to when I joined the military and became a pilot. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. We all did. I even asked when I showed up to plane school. I said, "Can I be a fighter pilot?" And they said, "Did you just call it plane school?" And now I fly cargo. I move cargo. I fly a C-130. It's an old plane. It was designed in the 50s. It's an old plane. We'll say it's a classic, okay? It's old. I still have a navigator on the flight deck. When you fly Delta to Europe, you have 4 satellites giving you precision information at every moment. I have a dude with a map. When you land in Orlando, your flight director will bring you down to within an inch of the runway when you're flying Southwest. I have a guy who's like, okay, not this cloud, but the next cloud, you're gonna turn right. And if you pass a mountain with snow on it, you've gone too far. The coolest thing I get to do is I get to do a humanitarian airdrop. That's the coolest thing you could do in my job. It's really cool because you get to bring supplies to people who need it most, maybe after a hurricane or something, or where there's no like landing zone where you can deliver it. And a couple years ago, though, it's very awesome when you get to do that. But a couple years ago, they did one and they accidentally killed some people because sometimes the parachutes fail. And also, if you can't secure the drop zone completely, it's very dangerous, obviously. And I think about that, like how much that would have sucked for the pilots to, take off thinking you're doing something good and then have that happen. And then also, like, your grandkids are going to ask you one day, like, hey, Grandpa, you were in the military. Did you ever kill anyone? You have to be like, kinda. I killed them with kindness, technically. I like flying. Being a pilot is a great job. It's great. It's really healthy to have a job where you can't just be a piece of shit at. It's very good. I've learned a lot of lessons being in aviation because we've solved a lot of society's problems in the airplane. We really have. And we've done it because airplane crashes don't care how rich or white you are, okay? So we fixed those problems. That's what we did. And it's great. We fixed them by being we study rigorously any kind of mistakes. We've created insanely good systems that even check, human factors and ego and stuff like that. And it's worked. And aviation is one of the safest, relatively for what we're doing. It's very safe. And so I think about how important that is. And my favorite example of this is when we do a flight plan, we always have to declare the amount of souls on board, okay? And I think that's a really important verbal thing that we do. We declare the amount of souls on board because you can't not. You can't be like, Dallas Tower, Mayday, Mayday. Liberty 1452 is engine out. We need direct vectors to the field. We have 2 hours of fuel, 26 souls on board, and 4 Mexicans. You can't have that. Dallas Tower, Libtard 1452. Unable. We give you vectors to Colorado or Nancy Pelosi's house or something. My grandma recently died. She died, and thank you. Appreciate it. No, she was great. I've been thinking about her a lot because as a comedian, as an artist, and anyone trying to say anything, you have all you have is where you come from, right? I was watching Chef's Table, and I learned from that show that you can't just make French food. You have to steal your grandma's recipes. And everything my grandma said was about food. So there's nothing funny, unfortunately. There's nothing funny to say. But I've been thinking about her a lot. And I carried her casket at her funeral. And while we were going up the steps, the church steps, my uncle on the other side of the casket looks over and goes, "All right, Rob, I was in Tampa the other day, and we was about to land. And then something happened and we took off again, and then we came back around and then we landed. What's the deal with that?" And what he's talking about is called a go-around, and it's like it's another great example of like where aviation works, because you have egos in the cockpit, and you have to be able to check those. And so a go-around, any crew member in the flight deck can call for a go-around, and it doesn't matter if they're right, they're wrong. There's no shame who fucked up, or if nobody fucked up, you're doing it. We're just doing it. We're gonna give it another try and go again until everyone feels comfortable. And I think that's very important. And I think if we had that in society, a great example would be when you asked me about your fucking trip to Tampa, I could have just said, while we're holding my dead grandmother, I could have said go-around. And you would have been like, "Got it, this is for later. It's not a now question. It's not for now." Thank you, no clapping. I'm not gay, or in the South. Okay. I am trying to be better as a person. Aviation has helped a lot. I'm trying to be better. I've been getting into self-help. Someone bought me a self-help book, which is not how you're supposed to do it. Like, step one is you go get the book. But the other thing I think about self-help books is that it's a Kindle purchase. Can we agree? It's a Kindle purchase. Like, the first line of every physical copy of a self-help book should be, "Hold on, are you in public?" How about we start with not holding up a sign that says you're a loser, okay? Everyone on the train reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a poor dad. No one's going, "How did I do it? How did I get here?" I've been trying to meet more men. Trying to meet more fellas, trying to meet more dudes. I'm not gay, I'm platonically frustrated. Okay? I'm trying. It's just hard. Like, what was the last time you made a friend? Third grade. It's third grade. He was like going through all these acquaintances, and like, they're not really friends. And then you get to, Tom, third grade. That's it, that was it. If you really think about it as a dude, how easy it was back then versus now. When I was 5 years old, true story, another 5-year-old boy walked up to me, handed me a Reese's peanut butter cup. 25 years later, that man was in my wedding. That's it. That's all it took at 5. It's hard now. I was at a bar last week, bought a guy mozzarella sticks. That bitch hasn't called. I don't know what the fuck. It's why I think I joined the military. I joined not for honor. I joined for friendship. I watched these war movies growing up, and I was like, man, that looked terrible. But then at the end, those guys must have been like, tight, dude. Must have been so good. And it really, I don't know what it says about us as men that it's probably the problem with everything, but that we can't just like look each other in the eyes without shame and say we love each other unless we shoot a gun. But it does work though, because I love my military boys. I love them to death, and I'll just, from experience, a grenade is really just a no homo you can throw. Okay, that's all it is. I shot a surface-to-air no homo yesterday. They took a scene out of Oppenheimer, but right before the Trinity test, they all kissed. They all just... The day I joined the military was actually the day they repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Like my first day at work, I remember hearing it on the radio that's like, Don't Ask, Don't Tell is repealed. This is a landmark victory for the queer community. And that's awesome. Also a weird first day. Just to get to the conference room and the commander gathers everyone around and he's like, all right, everybody, I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Rob Rego. He's going to be joining us. Also, it's okay to be gay now. I remember my first deployment. First time I deployed, my mom asked if she could come. I had to say no. You can't visit me at war, Mom. Guys, my mom's here. She's got cookies. Then I deployed, and I went to a place called Kuwait. And if you've never been to Kuwait, they have oil money and a mall that looks like Disney World. She could have came. She would have had a great time. They have a Dunkin' Donuts. It would have been fine. Just so you know, not to like buy me a drink for being in the military. I want everyone to hear this. I have an impression of like what an Air Force deployment sounds like. So if you meet someone in the Marines, like buy them a shot of tequila and like therapy. But the Army, you could buy them a drink, but the Air Force don't do anything. Here's my impression of an Air Force deployment. Okay.
We're out of toner! I can't print!
You're welcome. You're welcome for my service. Thank you. Josh knows. He knows. They sent us in! They knew we didn't have enough toner! They sent us anyway! I remember my second deployment. They told us about it when we were getting out of Afghanistan, so the whole news cycle was just us leaving and all that. And then my boss was like, "Hey, get ready, deployment next year." And I was like, "Are you not watching the news? We're leaving. Where are we going?" And he's like, "Don't worry about that. We'll find a place. We'll find a place. Don't you worry about that." It's Africa. That was the place. Went to a country called Djibouti, which is the Uranus of countries. When I got there, I found out that we had been there for 20 years. We've been there for 20 years. I didn't know that. And apparently when we got there, we didn't even have enemies. We've since found some. We found them. Before I deployed, they said, "Hey, don't post on TikTok. China's watching your TikToks." And I was like, "No, they're not. Nobody's watching my TikToks." If you want a little live intel, a little up-to-date info, nobody. Could you ask China? Could you ask? If they're gonna watch, could they follow? Could they share? Send it to Russia. Send it to Iran. I'm doing comedy. It's my dog, mostly. Could you send it? I do have a security clearance, and I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but George Bush did do 9/11. But what you don't know is he's sorry. He's really sorry about it. Every September they gather us around and we have to watch a video and he's like, wow, I got way out of hand. Dick Cheney? Not sorry. Not sorry about it. I'm just kidding. I'm in an Air National Guard part-time C-130 unit. I don't get told anything. Top secret. Anytime it is, it's just like the most boring technical bullshit. And I do wish they would just give us some kind of like juicy top secret gossip every once in a while. Just be like, all right, guys, we got one. We just found out where Russia's pointing all of its nukes. And turns out New York is cooler than LA. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, baby. Fuck yeah. Suck my dick. Suck my dick, LA. They warn us every year about being honeypotted. They'll be like, you're gonna be honeypotted. That's something when an adversary sends a Russian 10 to a bar. And they try to seduce you for your secrets. And I would never. But I've been at the bar. And I haven't seen her. I have not seen this Russian 10. I had an 8 from Staten Island asked me if there was aliens, if they were real. One time, Russia sent this Long Island girl to like fall in love with me and then break my heart. That was really bad on them. They're getting real good now. They just play the long game. They're like, let's have an emotional connection, but actually, like, I have nothing to give you, so it's fine. Oh, Russia, you got me so hard. So hard, Russia. Please stop. Please. Deployments are hard. They're hard. I'm trying to talk a friend out of leaving his wife right now. I don't really care. I just don't want to have to help him move, okay? I know we all have different like values. Some of us are religious, some of us aren't. But can we agree right now that if you live on the 5th floor and you don't have an elevator, marriage is sacred. Right? She cheats on you on the 1st floor, fuck her. We'll get your couch, we'll go to a strip club. But the 5th floor, no elevator? That's God testing you. You're gonna look back and realize this was the challenge in your relationship you needed to... His couch is so heavy. I was like, dude, you know what? You cheat too. You cheat on your diet. You're both human beings who caved, people who had their willpower broken. What does it take to break her? Sex. That's the best thing. You lose to spaghetti. Who's the weaker person in this scenario? Last month you gained 6 pounds, you got a promotion. Who's the... I went through a divorce a couple years ago. Anyone else? Any divorces? Yeah! These guys are gonna be the ones doing drugs after. No, just Steven, actually. I went through a divorce, and my favorite part about going through a divorce is telling people in your life about it. Because you have to tell them, because they're like, oh, how's so-and-so doing? You're like, whatever. And then you get to watch that, because that's just how the human brain works. It has to jump to a conclusion. So you see like a wheel spin. Just like, I go through a divorce, and they're like, it's a wheel called asshole or loser. You just see the wheel spin. It's just like, did she cheat on him? Or is he choosing his failing comedy career over her? Oh no, it landed on small penis. No, we had a mutual separation, and we're still cool. We were together for 7 years, and we were only married for the last year. Which in the relationship industry, if you're only married for a year of your relationship, that marriage is a Hail Mary. That's what that is. If you don't know what a Hail Mary is, it's based off of a last-ditch football play that's named after a prayer that's named after the only woman that Catholics ever respected. So it was a Hail Mary, and we split ways, but I still care about her a lot, and then she still cares about me. And people will be like, Rob, I'm sorry about your failed marriage. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like a failed marriage. It felt like we both had 5.5 great seasons before we tore the ACLs of our hearts. I believe this, like, if you've ever been in a long-term relationship, it's fucking hard. Any long-term relationship, no matter how compatible you are or incompatible, it's very hard. And so you can't. It just feels wrong to just be like, all right, goodbye, whatever. I believe this. I believe that the best way to end a long-term relationship is with marriage. I wouldn't get the law involved. I wouldn't get a lot of money involved. But like, go to the park. Have someone ordain you, divorced. Have your flower girl rip up the lease, whatever. Does anyone see a reason for these two to keep fucking? Everyone's like, no. 3 years ago. Right before we got a divorce, my mom tried to talk me out of it because my mom's very religious. Let me preface this by saying that my mom is one of the best people I've ever met in my life. She has some bad politics, but she's a good person, right? Like, I've seen her help. One time she spent an entire summer helping a homeless man find a home, and she did. She teaches art at an elderly community now. She's helped women escape from like domestic violence situations. She's the most beautiful person I ever met in my life, and don't ask me who she's voting for in November. But the problem is like the opposite. We have the opposite problem here in New York. We have good politics, bad people, right? We have people like, I believe in like women should have equality. I believe in sexual freedom, but I can't help you because that's not within my boundaries, my therapist said. I would love to, but I don't do anything for anyone else. But I'm voting. So my mom is genuinely the best person I've ever met, and she was very upset about this, and so we went to she's an art person, so she wanted to meet up. We went to the Museum of Modern Art, and we were sitting in like this room after walking around for a little bit, and it was like one of those rooms with like an abstract movie playing, and it was just one bench in the middle, and we were sitting down and having this like conversation, and it could have been like, I think there was a guy with a beret in the corner. It was like, this is an exhibit, like by an experimental artist. The boomer mother tries to teach her son about antiquated traditions. He retorts with not so much principles, but a lack of principles. Both systems working for neither of them. And then she decides to drop this bomb, and she goes, Rob, you have to understand, like, the reason that I believe in God so much is because when I was pregnant with you, the doctor said that you were gonna be retarded. She drops hard R, retarded, at the MoMA. There's all these people around. There's a bunch of New York NPR people that are horrified. There's a bunch of Midwestern tourists that are like, maybe New York is back. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I'm dying laughing. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. She's now crying because like, what could this be funny? I prayed to God. I said, please, God, don't make my son retarded. I do still have like enough Catholic guilt that like after signing, like I checked, like after signing the divorce papers, I checked to see if he was gonna, turn me back into a pumpkin. Or like not turn me in, but like maybe I realized I've actually just been that way the whole time. It's like the last scene of Shutter Island. Like I just watched my face change in the mirror. I think about every conversation I've had with all my friends, and they were just being nice to me the whole time. They're like, yeah, Rob, you could do a comedy show. Absolutely. We'll totally watch. When my grandma died, the day before the funeral, my uncle steals the house. Okay? And before I go on with this story, this is a white privilege story, okay? There's nothing to worry about anywhere, okay? But still, on principle, my grandma was as she was mentally declining, my uncle got the house signed over in her name. And so obviously everyone in the family was pissed. And the weird thing is that my uncle, it means a lot to me because he's my godfather. He's my confirmation name growing up. And also, he came out gay later in life. And that was a very important lesson for me because I was raised that it was wrong, right? And everyone's talking shit, you going to hell, you suck some dick, right? And they didn't talk like that. That was just me. But it was very clear. And then I remember, and then when my uncle came out as a kid, I was like, what's gonna happen? And they just loved him regular. They just didn't care. They just stopped. They stopped talking about being gay is wrong, and they just switched to immigrants. They were like, you know what? This reminds me that there's a lot of Syrians in the neighborhood now. So he's very important to me. If we were in Brooklyn, the judge would give him the house anyway. So the day of the funeral, we're burying her in the ground, and my dad and my uncle are obviously feuding, and they're both doing this thing where they're trying to be the last flower on the casket. And it's like this super awkward, dorky, like, no, you first. And they're both going, and then like it looks like my dad is gonna lose, who was just betrayed by his brother. He had to go, people were expecting. And so he takes it, he puts it on the casket. And then my uncle triumphantly takes the flower and puts it on the casket. And then my dad did the thing that I'm the most proud of him ever. He takes a secret hidden flower out of his pants. Out of his pants, full stem, roses, thorns, throws it on the casket. This comedy special goes out to Mary Rego. Thank you guys for being here.
To this time. Doesn't need a little brain salad surgery. I got the cue of my insecurity. That I've been in the wrong place.
Take this wall down, put another room back here, take that little thing down, and got some cool stuff coming. We'll see what it looks like.